Free agents have been signing left and right. We have big names from Milton Williams to some no-name second stringers that I'm sure you guys have no idea who they are. But Coach and I are going to get into it, so let's dive right on in. Welcome back to the Lockdown Defense Sports Network. I am your host for today's show, Robert Garcia, and joining me is Coach D. You know him, you love him, the two Charger fans coming at you with a video today.
Indeed. Happy to be here on a Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Bring you this heavy hitting content with 50% of the hit squad in the building. I like it.
Hey, we got the most important members, right? The Charger fans. Don't let Alex and Mike know.
Oh, they're going to see this, so they're going to find out one with us.
Oh, man. But getting into it, y'all, as I said in the intro, free agency is here. We went over kind of like the big name signings, you know, those big bag getters, as you'll say, in our live show, the Hit Squad. If you want to take a look at that over on our channel, I believe that was recorded yesterday.
Tuesday night.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so that was a great show. Definitely go check that out if you want to see some of the bigger names being talked about and what we think of their signings and the places they went to. This video, though, we are going to be getting into kind of the second tier players, you know, the ones that aren't getting top quality money, top free agent money. But, you know, some of these signings you'll look back on as the season progresses, and we had some signings like this last year, Poona Ford, Tierra Tart, a couple of guys that you don't think much of when you sign them initially, and they end up being huge contributors. So we're going to try to see and predict who some of those will be today.
All right. So, yeah, let's get into the second wave. I'm excited to talk about this and see where these guys land. They're still in the top 100, a lot of names that haven't signed it. I'm very shocked they haven't been paid yet, but it definitely should get some money here in the next couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're even shocked at where a couple of these guys rank on the top 100 free agent list.
I love Greg Rosenthal and all, but his rankings for some of these guys is really disrespectful.
very QB slighted. We'll just say that.
Maybe he's a QB enthusiast. Maybe
yes.
That's
very much so. All right, so getting into it. As we said, we're going to be predicting where some of these second-tier free agents are going to be going to. And bringing up the big board here from 1 to 50. As you see here on the first, we're going to start with, obviously, 1 through 25. And we'll go right away with Amari Cooper, who is still, according to this board, Greg Rosenthal's board, the highest valued free agent remaining.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he is the definition of consistency. He is a consistently great route runner. He is a consistently great separator, consistently great route runner, and a consistently great dropper of the ball. And that's that is probably why he has yet to be signed this year. I truly do think that drops are a big part and a big reason why teams have been hesitant to sign him this year. We saw it
when he was get dark or look, because I fell out of shade. It was a whole lot of shade just now.
Well, daylight savings time did just change, so the shade comes. It stays out a little bit longer as the sun stays.
That's true. A lot of shade in that breakdown, but okay.
My thing is this: you saw it with the Browns, obviously, and don't get me wrong, the Browns had a terrible QB situation. So I am not trying to throw any blame at all towards Amari Cooper, but even when he was still producing, and even when Jameis Winston came in and kind of had that offense going, I guess you could say as well as you could expect,
right,
under Jameis, he was still balling out and he was still putting up great numbers. But those drops, I'm pretty sure he was like 14 weeks into the season, I want to say he was still like the number one receiver in terms of drop rate. Ooh. Which is insane to think about. Yeah. And you see that in the trade to Buffalo. He gets some targets, but I mean, realistically, who is he competing with there for targets? Khalil Shakir,
Keon Coleman, yes.
Keon Coleman, who's a rookie, you know, like, so you would think somebody of his caliber would be able to get some, you know, some targets, especially from a guy like Josh Allen, but alas, we kind of saw the drop in that. And going over to Asante Samuel as well here. Obviously know him on a little bit more of a personal level as he is a former Charger.
All right.
Don't see him coming back to us.
But after the two acquisitions we made, Dante Jackson and Benjamin St. Juice.
Your favorite.
yeah, that's very, very sarcastic of you to say. That is complete opposite of what I feel right now. Definitely
when you need him, man.
Terrible. But we'll get into that later. But yes, that's unlikely that he's coming back based upon the signings that they made so far. Sure, yes,
definitely don't see him coming back to us. But like I said, I could definitely see him going to a Buffalo, to a kind of fringe contender. I think I talked about this a little bit on the podcast yesterday that we did. I see him going to like either a fringe contender for more money, or going to a legit contender for less money. So depending on what he values more. And I honestly think he values the money more. That's just personally me, what I've seen him with the team and how I feel like he is. That's not to say that he doesn't care about football, or just because he wants the money more, you know, doesn't mean that
you got to get paid while you can too. You still young.
Hey, so, man, I said this yesterday. I'm all for players getting their bag. You know, sit out, do whatever you got to do, because these franchises, they will think twice.
Yeah, they will lowball. If they can lowball you, they will. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure. So you talked about Asante going to a fringe contender. What about Amari? You think who needs Amari the most?
I think Amari, man, it's tough because it truly depends on what, you know, kind of similar to Asante. What does Amari want? Does he want to go, you know, take a vet minimum somewhere and go to a contender and just, you know, contribute where he can? Or does he want to go get paid? Does he still, you know, care about trying to get as much money as he can? And like I said, you got no quarrel for me with that. You want to spend your whole time in the league trying to get as much money as you can. Hey, go for it, big dog. I'm all for it. So, you know, I think it really just depends on what Amari is prioritizing. You know, we saw him when he was with the Raiders, and, you know, that's obviously
that was peak Amari then, boy.
That was peak Amari, man. And thankfully he gets shipped out to the Cowboys.
Right. Out of our hair.
Out of our hair, yep. And, you know, he's NFC East problem for a bit. And I think there with the Cowboys is where you really started to see the decline. I don't want to say the decline or the inconsistencies, but you'd see where when he's hot and he's high, man. Yeah.
Well, it's also being a dysfunctional situation in Dallas too. That could have played a part.
Right.
Two dysfunctional places back to back, like with the Dallas and the Cleveland.
But you did have a good. You did have a good quarterback in Dallas, though. Dallas, for what Dak is in the playoffs, Dak was still good in the regular season.
Agreed.
And looking at what Amari has now, I bet you he's like, damn, put me back in Dallas.
Right. I'll take a minimum. Take the vet minimum. Just give him back in Dallas. Right.
And honestly, that would be a great move for them. Bringing him back. It would be very similar. Go ahead.
Something else about you, too. What about Tennessee if they get Cam Ward to be the vet in that room with him and Calvin Ridley and Treylon Burks, Jacob Conquo? They got their O-line.
They got taking the vet minimum to be there.
Why not? I mean, they actually got money though. They don't have to take the vet minimum, but it don't have to be big dollars. It could be a 1-year deal, kind of like what Mike Williams got today. You know, $6, $7, maybe $8 million. You know, they're not broke. You know, they got a little bit of money. I mean, they got the third most cap space right now at $64 million. So they got a little bit of dough they can spend on
even after today's signings.
Yeah, well, they don't over the cap doesn't update it in real time. The real number, but it's still they're not broke.
They came into this offseason with a ton of money, so yeah, exactly. Definitely not broke. But yeah, I mean, you know what? That's a good point. If to Tennessee, if he wants, if you know what, I didn't even think about that. If that's the kind of role that Amari wants to adopt, kind of like that mentor, you know, training the next generation, you know, these next group of guys coming in, Tennessee's a fantastic spot for him because, like you said, probably going to get Cam Ward. You have Treylon Burks, who's the young wide receiver there. Sucks they lost Westbrook Akine. That's a big
it was Westbrook Akine.
Westbrook Akine. Yeah. Huge loss for them. I mean, he's just honestly, he was somebody I wanted the Chargers to go get. Explosive wide receiver on the outside, guy, there was a crazy stat last year where he had like 20 catches at one point, and there was like 7 of them were for touchdowns, or like it was some like insane stat that.
We were joking about that on the fantasy pod about how every time he plays, he scores a touchdown. So he's like goal for like 8 weeks. It was amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, he definitely.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely see him going somewhere like that.
And I would be a good make them viable because you got Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, Treylon Burke, Chico Conquer. You got 2 good backs in Charles Spears and Nick and Tony Pollard. You got a mobile quarterback. You got the O-line fixed because they paid big money in free agency for that. So yeah, why not? And the defense has been good. I mean,
and you're in a terrible division.
Exactly.
You know what, man? You might have just convinced me with that right there.
Hey man,
you got a chance. You got a real chance to compete there. Yeah, so that would be a good spot. That the Titans would be a really sneaky good spot for Amari. If that's where he wants to go in terms of his career path.
Now, what do you feel about Stephon Diggs? I really want to get your take on that. Who do you think Stephon Diggs goes?
Man, I thought for sure he was somebody the Chargers are going to be interested in, but after they got Mike Williams, I think it's completely out on them. Now, I mean, see, this is the thing. Like, all these older wide receivers are in such similar spots. Like Stephon Diggs and Amari Cooper. I don't want to say they're similar wide receivers in terms of play style because they're very different, but they are very similar in terms of where they are in their careers right now. Like,
and he's coming off the ACL injury versus everybody else is healthy. Yeah,
and we wonder why these guys haven't been signed yet. They're in the top 28. Or top 27 going down to Diggs, and not nothing yet. And we see guys. We were talking in chat. We've seen guys getting signed that. We're like, how?
Right. Well, how do you have a job? Right. Exactly.
Like, who do you know in that organization that hooked you up?
Exactly.
Another guy on this list, though, before I move on to the next one, that I really am interested to see is Calais Campbell. He's somebody that I truly feel obviously didn't have the same impact as Aaron Donald, but similar to Aaron Donald, he will be an impactful player until the day he retires. And we are going to look back and be like, could he have played longer if he truly wanted to? Because dude,
he gets out of bed at 6'7", 300 pounds. I mean, listen, like genetics alone just makes you wonder. You're like, what I'm gonna do with this guy's O-lineman? Like, it's a problem.
Hey, you look at these dudes and you're like, how does it feel to be God's favorite?
Exactly.
So I definitely feel like Campbell, man, he's somebody like instant, the minute he gets signed somewhere, I'm going to look at the team that he goes to and the talent around him, and I'm going to be like, that team can contend. That team is someone, because I feel he's going to go to a team, like, he's not going to go to Browns or he's not there for the money.
Contender. No matter where he goes, he's going to be a contender at this point. And if he doesn't get a contender offer, he's probably going to retire.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I truly feel like that is a big piece to watch out for. I'm very curious to see where Calais Campbell lays. Come on over to the Chargers. I'm going to say this for like every free agent.
You might. Especially Tevin Jenkins still out here. We need a guard. Tevin Jenkins is young. He's definitely can play. I think
played all 17 games.
He's better at pass pro than Trey Pipkins and Zion Johnson at this moment. So yes, I would definitely take Tevin Jenkins. Wasn't my first choice, but I would take him at this moment in time for sure. And going back to the Diggs thing real quick, it might, because of his injury, it might linger on until after the draft for him, because people will maybe have not gotten what they wanted in the draft and need a wide receiver to come into their offense. So he might wait till then, but I still think he gets picked by somebody. And I think somebody that will be, they got a viable quarterback. I think he'll probably wait for that.
Oh yeah. No, he's not going anywhere where there's no QB. He's not going to pull a DK where he's like, I need warm weather, good QB, playoff contender, and he got
cold weather, east, northeast. Come on, bro.
One of the toughest divisions in football.
Exactly. Good luck. And then you got to fight. You got to fight George Pickens for 14. So yeah, that's a whole other problem.
Glad I'm not a Steelers fan.
We digress.
Yeah. No. All right, moving on. Now, obviously, this is the more kind of what's the word? Not so much uninspiring list, I guess would be the good term for it.
Here now, why are you talking? There's some names on here now.
There's definitely some names. Here's where you're really going to start to see the QB bump.
Love. Yeah.
Yes. because Jimmy G there at 75, I would not take a single player behind him, or excuse me, I would take every player behind him
over Nick Chubb and Keenan Allen and Brandon Scherf. Like, stop it.
Comedy. But yeah, so looking at this list here, obviously topping it off, Mekhi Becton, or excuse me, Mekhi Becton.
There you go.
He's probably one of the last few guys that legitimately is going to get a bag, and deserves a bag, rightfully.
I mean, his age, his size, he just won a Super Bowl. I mean, he should be getting paid right now. I think he's just taking the best offer right now.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, more power to him because he came into the league as I believe he was the 6th overall pick from the Jets, flamed out there.
Well, he had to get his weight down. He had a weight problem when he got
there. Yeah, and that was their concern when he got drafted that high, but nobody saw it as like an overwhelming issue until the season started, and it's like, oh, he's still 350, 360.
Right.
And it's not going down anytime soon. So bit of a weird journey for him, but I always say this for O-line, if you want to continue to play and you're not sure where to go, try to find your way to Philadelphia. Try to find your way to Jeff Stoutland, because this man revives O-line careers like it's nobody's business.
That's a good point. That is a great point.
And he's gotten a ton of guys paid, and Mekhi Becton is just the next one. So wherever he goes, they're going to get a great guard with great experience, bringing a ton of talent and just physicality with him. And yeah, started off as a tackle, very quickly made his way to guard with the Eagles.
For him, yes,
it's going to get him paid. So yeah, I think he would agree with you that it was definitely the best move for him. Moving down, kind of further down the list.
Table for Mekhi, since you didn't do it for the Chargers side. The Chargers, we want to stop Mekhi back to play.
Hey man,
please. I mean, if you want to run the ball, I mean, come on, Mekhi back. What better man can you do at a 6'7", 363-pound guard? How much better can you do? Get Trey Pipkins out of here, move Mekhi back in the right guard, we're good to go.
You know who's calling for it? Najee Harris. Najee Harris. Yeah. I'll take Mekhi Becton, please, please, and thank you.
Right. Yeah, but I would have said that. Go ahead, keep the party going.
No, for sure. I wanted to go to Mike Williams there. Obviously, you just quickly want to address it. One of the few guys on here that has been signed since the initial post of this list.
Right.
He obviously re-signed with the Chargers, 1 year, $6 million. I think that's a great deal. Great contract for the Chargers. Virtually no risk at all, and it has all the upside in the world. Familiarity with Herbert, deep threat on the outside, makes 50-50 balls look like 80-20.
True.
And it's just ultimately, can you stay healthy? And if we can get 14 games out of Mike Will this year, I'll take that. A+ signing if you can get that out of him.
Now bring back Keenan. Bring back Keenan. I knocked my camera down. Cover that.
So much excitement. Oh man.
Pound the table, knock my camera cover down. Yes.
Yo. Now that we brought back Mike Will, Keenan Allen sounds like, man, let's get the band back together with Ladd, with the new the new lead singer and Ladd.
That's what I'm saying. All we need is a tight end in the draft.
Don't get me excited.
Mason Taylor, Colston Loveland with that group. Let's rock.
Hey, dog. Hey, we get Colston Loveland with a running back. All right. That's a different.
We're not gonna turn it into a Chargers show. But let's wrap up these free agents so we can get them out of here.
Yeah. I'll just do a couple last ones here. Another fan favorite, Kaiser White. He's just a super speedy sideline to sideline linebacker, ball hawk. Not ball hawk in the sense of interceptions, but just getting his hands out there, just being a nuisance in the back, or excuse me, in the secondary and up front. Can blitz, can play in coverage. I mean, just an all-around do-it linebacker that you can just plug in and just say go. And right. I'm sure Minter would feast with him on his defense. But I truly do see, I think him going back to Philly would be a great reunion over there on that side as well. Yeah. I think a team I think he could still get paid. Honestly, he's still young enough to get a nice contract if he wants to go somewhere like the Giants. Just a kind of a lower end team that
linebacker. You're right.
Giants need a linebacker. So I think it like you just said, a linebacker needy team that can also give him a decent bag, a worthy bag.
I like that.
And wrapping it up here, I mean, I got to finish it up with Nick Chubb, man. It is just disrespectful to have my man down here at 101.
That is crazy.
Like, I love Josh Palmer. No way.
Right.
No way in hell, man. But I could see him going as sad as it is, and I would hate this.
He should go to the Steelers just to piss off the Browns.
Just I was gonna say he should go to Baltimore as like kind of like a backup to Derrick Henry. Bro, can you imagine
Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry in the same backfield? Are you crazy?
Why not?
That is abuse.
to stick it to Cleveland and you go to a division rival with Derrick Henry. I mean, dude, come on.
That is assault. Like that is a charge. That is not fair.
Browns
fan. Oh man, I thought this Saquon Barkley and AJ Dillon combo was bad. Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. Oh my god.
Oh, come on, dude. Bro, imagine you're lining up. You're like, God, I got Derrick Henry for 2 snaps. You're like, finally, he's off the field. Hey, Nick Chubb fresh in.
I tweeted this earlier about the Philly duo. If you have to send Derrick Henry to the sideline and they bring in Nick Chubb, you remember with Captain America when he was getting beat up by Thanos in Endgame and he strapped that half beaten up shield on his arm? Like, I know I'm about to die, but that's how defenders are going to feel.
I'm gonna go down swinging.
That's right. Defenders are going to feel. I got to tackle him now. No thanks.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. We're talking about best fits. If we thought Henry to the Ravens was bad, get ready for Henry and Chubb, bro.
I actually like the Steelers though because they not Najee go. No, they got a Jalen Warren.
Yeah.
So him and Jalen Warren would be a good fit. And again, he get to play the Browns twice a year. So I like that move.
Yeah, I honestly, like you said, I think anywhere in the division, even if he goes over to the Bengals, I think that'd be a great move for the Bengals. Getting you lost.
They do need a running back because all they got is Chase Brown, so they do need.
That's
a whole other conversation.
Bengals got a whole other thing of dysfunction.
That's a fact. That is a fact. So okay, and we're gonna give our thoughts and prayers to JK. Hopefully, he gets a deal somewhere, man. If we don't bring him back, because man, all somewhere, just not against us. Nowhere in the West. Like just
man. Huge JK fan. I mean, dude, honestly, a lot of these guys we signed last year to 1-year deals. I mean, Puna 4, JK, Tart. I mean, glad we brought him back. But yeah, man, I'm rooting for all these guys to get paid. I will say though, I truly don't feel like JK's coming back to us. I think the Najee signing kind of
it's doubtful. Although Najee's a 1-year deal now, if JK signs for 2 years, it might be something. But I don't know. I'm
I'd rather draft one.
Yeah, I would too. I'm still looking at Quishon Judkins from Ohio State. I want that in like the second or third round. But yeah, wishful thinking. Anywho, but yeah, it's definitely a good list. And I want to see where Elijah Moore goes to. He's a good slot receiver, so I want to see where he goes to. Who needs a good slot receiver out there is it should be a good pickup for them as well. But I like the list, man. It should be a good another waiver for agency coming up here.
Yeah, a lot of big names still out there. A lot of contracts still waiting to be signed. Like I said, the teams are just we're at that point in free agency before the draft where teams are just like, all right, let me get some value signings that have the potential. Zach Bond, Puna Ford. I always go back to just these 1-year contracts that you're like, all right, let's see what you can do, and maybe we'll keep you around.
There you go.
But with that, guys, we want to thank you for joining us today. As we mentioned, ton of guys still waiting to be signed, so make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment where you think some of these guys are going to be going to. And, even if you're a homer like myself, you could just put everybody above all going to your team.
Until it doesn't happen, you got a chance.
Absolutely. You got some money, you definitely got a chance. But with that, guys, thank you again. We will see you in the next one.
Peace.